Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, our weekly news video. Hope you're all doing well. I'm more awake than I was when I came here yesterday morning for the breaking news video about the Toyota partnership with Haas. So, we're all doing well. If you want to see that video, that's available for you on the channel now. We're not going to talk about that here, because there's nothing really new to talk about since it happened yesterday. So if you want to see my thoughts on that, that was out yesterday. Also out yesterday was a video all about my time at the F1 exhibition down in London. So if you want to see that, that's there as well for you as well to watch after this one. But in today's video, it should be a pretty short one for you. There's not too much to discuss, but the main story is Liam Lawson versus Yuki Tsunoda for the Red Bull seat next year. We've also got some stuff on F1 Academy, and everyone's favourite Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League is coming back. So, all that and more to come in this video. Before we get into that, remember to like and subscribe, and a huge shout out to our members, Dakota, The Joyous James, Robin Myers, and Cinnamon Strudel. If you too want to become a member, the link is in the description. Memberships start from just the low price of £1 Great British Pound. In fact, I think it might be 99 pence, which is even less than £1 Great British Pound. But let's get started with the top news story of the week, and it comes from the lips of Helmet Marko, because he has said that Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson are fighting for the 2025 Red Bull seat for the remainder of this season. He was quoted saying, "I can imagine that a junior driver will drive alongside Max. I don't know in how many races Liam Lawson was faster than Yuki, but that's why we decided that now is the time to make the comparison with Yuki, who is the faster of the two. After that, it is up to the Red Bull hierarchy to decide who fits where in F1 in 2025. So, Helmet Marko doesn't know who was the faster of the two, but I do, because I've done the research, everybody. So, here's how it stacked up last year. In qualifying, they had in general, they had 5 races together as teammates whilst Ricciardo was out with his broken wrist. In qualifying, it was 4-1 to Yuki Tsunoda. The only time Liam Lawson beat Yuki Tsunoda in qualifying was in Singapore, when he famously went P10, he got into Q3, knocked Max Verstappen out. We all remember it. It was a moment. Meanwhile, though, in the race, it was 4-1 the other way to Liam Lawson. The only time Yuki Tsunoda beat Liam Lawson was in Qatar. I remember that race. Lawson had quite a bad race, to be honest with you. His whole run was fantastic. Then he seemed to just fall off in Qatar. And that was the only race where Yuki Tsunoda beat him. In terms of points, it was 2 points to Liam Lawson to 0 points to Yuki Tsunoda. So, the one-lap pace undoubtedly goes Yuki Tsunoda's way. But in the race, it seemed to be going the way of Liam Lawson. And, there's also massive caveats you've got to put to this as well. Yuki Tsunoda was in his 3rd year, I think, last year. Also had driven the car all year. Liam Lawson came in as a rookie to have this car, never driven it before, and outperformed Yuki Tsunoda in terms of the race over a 5-race period. Now, we have got 6 races to go, but Liam Lawson is in the exact same position that he was before. He hasn't driven this car before. It's going to be brand new for him from there. Once again, he's only had those 5 races. So it's not the most even playing field in the world. But going off what happened last year, you have to say that Liam Lawson might have the advantage here, because, of course, the race is the more important thing in terms of the race and qualifying. That's where the points are handed out. That's what will make a contribution towards the Constructors' Championship. That's how the teams get their money. So, if we look purely on last year, Lawson is the better of the two, which is an interesting one, because it just makes you think, why didn't they give him the bloody seat for this year then? That's what I was trying to argue last year, that Lawson should have been given the seat for this year. They went in a different direction, of course. But now we may be in a position here where Liam Lawson, if Helmet Marko is to be believed, Liam Lawson could go for replacement in 2023, replacement in 2024, full-time Red Bull driver in 2025. That's realistically where we could be right now. And then that brings a whole new question, which isn't a new question at all, because it's the same bloody question we've been asking for about 3 years now. which is what happens to Sergio Perez, because he signed a bloody contract. He has a contract to be in the Red Bull next year. Now, who knows what kind of little addendums are in that contract, or maybe move him around if people aren't too happy, but they gave him a contract. In terms of the Red Bull team, those 2 seats are secure for next year on paper. Not that paper is worth anything, of course. But it seems like this whole Red Bull thing is still a massive mess. And let's say, hypothetically, over the next 6 races, it's shown that Lawson is the better of the 2. And they go, Liam Lawson, next year you will be alongside Max Verstappen in that Red Bull. Off you go, have a great time. What happens to the second Racing Bull then? Do they give it to Checo? Do they bring Daniel Ricciardo back in? Do they go to, I don't know, Iwasa or Hadjar? You know, there's so many questions about this whole Red Bull situation. And even when they confirm things, it gets none the clearer. So let me know what you think is going to happen here, because I haven't got a clue as to what's going to happen. If it's anything like last year, I think Liam Lawson will show up and be quicker than Yuki Tsunoda was. So that is, you know, it's the exact same situation. Not the exact same tracks, of course, but it looks like Lawson is the faster of the 2. And also, Red Bull just don't want to promote Yuki Tsunoda. You know, we've had these conversations now for years of, you know, Sergio Perez's underperformance. Yuki Tsunoda, I can't remember a serious time there was a serious rumour of him being the guy to go into that Red Bull seat. It was always Ricciardo. Ricciardo was always the guy who was going to replace Sergio Perez. Even like a couple of weeks ago in Singapore, Horner's like, oh yeah, well, Ricciardo's the guy to replace Horner. He was fired that weekend, and they're still saying he's the guy. You know, Yuki Tsunoda is just, they don't see it in him. I don't know why, because I think he's been pretty good this year. Maybe it's the connection with Honda, and they're scared that they would promote him and then he would go off to Aston with the new Honda-Aston partnership. But there's something about Yuki, they don't see it in him. Because if they did see it in him, they'd just call him up now. You know? Red Bull aren't a team that are, like, scared of mid-season drivers' changes. We know that for sure. Especially even at the top team, you know, that's how Verstappen got in. There was a whole stuff with Albon and Gasly. I can't even remember which way around that was. But, you know, they're not afraid to go, yeah, just put him in. Who cares if it's a bit too early? We'll just give it a go. But never with Yuki. Not even in contention with Yuki. So, this whole thing of, oh, we're testing Yuki and Lawson against each other, I don't think it is testing Yuki and Lawson against each other. It is seeing, is Lawson faster than Yuki? It's not seeing the other way around, because if Yuki is faster than Lawson, he's still not in that Red Bull seat for 2025. Because they just don't see it in him for whatever reason. I don't really understand. So, the Red Bull situation continues to rumble on and rumble on and rumble on. Let's talk about something else that's rumbling on, the Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League. Now, if you've been on my channel and you've gone to the videos tab and you've clicked on popular, you will see my second most popular video of all time is on the Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League. For a while it was my most popular video. It has been surpassed by the Iron Man video, which people, if you go into the comment section, if you want a fun drinking game, click on my Iron Man video, go into the comment section, and take a shot every time you find a comment of someone who doesn't realise I'm telling a joke, and then call your local hospital. Anyway, the Autonomous Racing League's back, everybody. We saw it in Abu Dhabi last year. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But yeah, it was a big mess. It wasn't good. But they're back. Following the race in April, they are now going to Suzuka, where Danny Kvyat will pit his skills against a fully autonomous SF23 Super Formula car driven by AI. Which is interesting, because that's exactly what they promised last time. So, for those of you who aren't intricately aware of this mess, like I am, firstly, we've seen a lot of the same things happen that we saw last year, where some, news sources on motorsport that I really like have obviously been paid a lot of money because they've come back again with, oh, the future of technology is here. It's marvelous to see. And it's like, oh, okay, right, yeah, you said that last time and it was crap. But basically, what happened last time was they promoted. Firstly, they promoted this race full of autonomous cars, which allegedly happened. It borderline happened, but also at the same event they promoted Danny Kvyat in a Super Formula car versus an AI car as a little race to go alongside the other race. And then when it happened, it became very clear that they couldn't race because the car wasn't good enough. So they changed what it was. They said it was now a test, and it was the first ever time a human and an autonomous car had raced together. And by raced, what they really meant was the autonomous car went round on the racing line very slowly, and Danny Kvyat overtook it at one point, and at another point went massively off the racing line, slowed down, and the car went past him and went, oh, look, it did an overtake. And it really didn't. So, they're back again, this time in Suzuka, which is a much more difficult track than Abu Dhabi. And they're bringing Danny Kvyat out again, and they're saying, right, here we go. We're going to do it again. So, hopefully, this time, it's better. I'll keep an eye on it and report back. Right, final bit of news for you comes from F1 Academy, and it's news I'm really, really excited about, because you may remember Ella Lloyd, if you are someone who watches this channel regularly or watches F1 Academy regularly. She was the wildcard driver for the Singapore F1 Academy race, and she did it incredibly well. She's really, really good, and she is now going to be in F1 Academy full-time from 2025 with Rodin. She's also joined the McLaren Driver Development Program, and she'll go on to test their Formula E car in Valencia on the 7th of November. Things looking up for Ella Lloyd from Pontypridd, some Welsh representation in the motorsport world. Fantastic stuff for her. I'm looking forward to seeing what she does next year, because she came in as that wild card and was easily one of the best wild cards we've had this year. So a bit more, time behind her, investment behind her, give her a full season. Let's see what she can do next year. Should be really, really fun. That's all we got for F1 news this week. We'll be back next week because the F1 is back. If you're interested in what I'm going to be doing today, though, this appeared at my house yesterday, so I'm going to try and read it all in a day. Last year, when his book came out, I made a video on all his the most interesting things that I read within the book. So, I should really say who it is, because this goes out on Spotify. I'm holding up Gunther Steiner's new book. I'm going to read through it. If there's some interesting stuff I want to talk about, there'll be a video on this within the next week. Also, next weekend is the Texas Grand Prix, or is the USA Grand Prix in Austin. It's a sprint race weekend. F1's back for the first time in 3 or 4 weeks now. So we'll be here to cover all of that. Is there any F2 or F3? I don't know. 1 second, I'll check my phone. I don't think there is, but if there is, that'll be covered here. No, there isn't. It's just F1. So the preview will be on Thursday, because it's a sprint race weekend. Then we'll have sprint qualifying reaction on Friday. We will have sprint race reaction and normal qualifying reaction on Saturday. Then the main race reaction on Sunday, then driver ratings on Monday. So all that to come next week. Loads of stuff to keep up with. I will see you then. Until then, have a good week. I'll see you later. Goodbye!